You ever have a morning so quiet you just know trouble's about to come barreling around the corner? That's how mine started. Coffee pot hissing, porch screen, creaking cicadas holding on to the last breath of summer. For most folks, this land was just a patch of old barns and a tractor left to rust. But for me, it was my anchor, my inheritance, the place that finally gave me a reason to breathe easy after years of carrying other people's burdens. Out here, I could forget the Bureau of Land Management credentials buried at the back of my gun safe, forget all those battles fought on public lands. Folks just knew me as Ben Boots Ballcap, a dog named Lucky, and that was just fine. I promised my mother on her deathbed that I'd never let anyone pave over this place. The HOA here Wilton Ridge started with good intentions. Keep the fences neat, street safe. But you know how these things go. It morphed into a bunch of power-hungry busybodies, convinced a clipboard and a flower bed meant they ran the world. Lucky for me, my land was grandfathered in out of their reach, or so I thought, or so I. First months after I moved in, things were quiet me. Lucky some old fencing to fix dirt under my nails and the kind of tired you feel in your bones but don't mind one bit. Then comes spring. Something shifted. Saw a guy with a clipboard out by my fence line, acting like he was measuring for a coffin. I yelled. He ignored me, just slipped away in his sedan. Next thing I know, survey flags start popping up at the edge of my cottonwood grove, then a drone buzzing over my pasture, just floating there like it owned the sky. Still, I tried to play it cool, figuring maybe the county was rerouting a ditch or something, but then comes a letter with no return address, HOA planning phase for luxury condos, and your cooperation is appreciated. I just about choked on my coffee. I wasn't part of their HOA. My deed's ironclad, but something told me this was about to get ugly. So I drove down to the HOA office, this little beige bunker where retirees plan bake sales and gossip. Asked for Deborah Marks. The president tight smile clipboard welded to her hand. She tried to play me like I was slow. Told me some consultant claimed my land was abandoned, that it fell inside their extended boundary. I nearly laughed out loud. You know what I mean. I've seen oil companies try that trick. I left not because I was beat, but because I recognized that look, people who think authority is something you can fake if you wear enough pastel. That night, I dug out every record my family had ever kept on this land. I called Terry, an old BLM buddy now working in Washington. Keep an eye out for anything Wilton Ridge, I said. And then I waited. Didn't have to wait long. A backhoe showed up. Then trucks with Southside Development logos workers in hard hats wandering around like they owned the place. I took pictures of everything, plates, trucks, flags, and sent them to Terry with a note. They crossed. Called the county assessor. Jeanette sounded friendly until she realized I was from Wilton Ridge. This must be part of the new initiative, she said, voice going cold. Seems they'd rezoned a chunk of rural land for residential, no notice to the owners. You ever feel your stomach drop out? That's how I felt sitting at the city planning office with Curtis, some slick-suited clerk trying to talk me down with soft words while I shoved zoning maps and deeds under his nose. When I accused them of fraud, he nearly fell out of his chair. That night I found a gravel road cutting right through my pasture. No warning, no offer, just pure arrogance. Lucky started barking at a black sedan, creeping away. I realized they were watching, hoping I'd back down. But they didn't know who they were dealing with. I dug out my old badge, BLM, still carries weight, and sat up half the night, adrenaline fizzing. Next morning, diesel engines rumbling, bulldozers lined up at the edge of my field. I walked down boots sinking into wet grass, Lucky glued to my side. You're trespassing, I told the crew. They barely looked up. Talk to your HOA, bud. I told them calm, dead, serious. One more inch, I go federal. That got their attention, but I could see they didn't really get it. Yet. Back inside, I prepped every document, every map, every ancient clause that protected this soil. Filed complaints called in favor, sent up the flag for environmental violations, unauthorized construction, suspected fraud, and then the HOA pushed back, Sent a rent-a-cop in a tactical vest to my gate with a phony warning for obstruction. I took his picture, told him he was trespassing, and watched him melt away. Then Terry called tension in his voice. HOA's lawyer filed a backdated land use application. Looks like someone high up pushed it through. The paperwork was slick. You need to stall Ben or they'll get concrete down and it's over. That night I camped out behind the tractor shed, camera in hand. Watched as a crew in dress clothes paced my property line with blueprints and laser pointers. One muttered, "He doesn't know how far this goes." I smiled in the dark. "Oh, I know." By sunrise, I had footage stashed on flash drives in every corner of the place. I've been in enough land fights to know when people are willing to steal in the dark, they'll do worse by day. HOA showed up next morning. Deborah, 2 goons, manila envelope, tried to hand me a formal notice of annexation. I told them to leave it on the porch. "You're lucky all I've done is film you," I said. They didn't like that. They pitch a bud. Within an hour, volunteers were plastering signs on my fence, future site of Ridgeview Terrace. Flyers went out, support growth, say yes to affordable condos. The hypocrisy burned. That evening, Terry said, "You need to stop the poor now. Flash the badge." So I did. Walked into their board meeting, badge on the table, every eye on me. "This development's under investigation, zoning fraud, unlawful trespass, environmental violations." The room froze. Deborah sputtered, tried to claim I was just a landowner. "Not today," I said. "Now I'm federal." And I walked out. But they didn't stop. At the zoning office, I found a fake deed notarized in another county, forged signature used to secure a variance for condo construction. I confronted the commissioner, forced him to issue a stop work order on the spot. Posted copies on every tree and stake, then filmed myself, badge in one hand, stop order in the other. "This is about truth," I said, "and I won't be silent." Uploaded the video. By nightfall, the story was everywhere. Next day, black SUV Deborah and Power Red Lipstick legal counsel in tow tried to buy me off, full market value plus damages. I laughed in their faces. "You built on my land, lied about it, sent fake cops to my door. Now you want a payout?" I held up my badge. "You never checked who I was." Sent them packing. Channel 4 showed up, cameras rolling, filmed the torn-up field, the battered cottonwoods, me holding up the forged deed at a packed HOA meeting. Residents started turning, some furious, some scared, some finally awake. I said my piece, held up the deed. Not progress, theft. The next morning, federal notice slapped across the HOA office door. Developers pulled out, calling it unforeseen legal complexities. The damage was done, field-scarred water channels, shifted neighbors divided. Some thought I overreacted, others said I saved them. I just kept working, planting grass, hauling dirt, restoring what I could. Students from the university came, tested soil, built a restoration plan. A week later, Sharon Rivera knocked on my door, said she was running for HOA president, wanted me to advise her. I hesitated, but maybe it was a sign that something better could rise from the mess. Slowly, the neighborhood changed. New rules, term limits, land use review, people talking instead of fighting. Then the letter from the Department of the Interior, my land reclassified as a protected agricultural heritage parcel. No more annexation, no more rezoning. The scars would heal. The sign I hammered up said, "This land remembers." Folks stopped to read it. Some asked questions. I told them stories about legacy, about fighting back, about not letting silence mean surrender. Students came, families visited, university film crews shot a documentary. People from across the country wrote letters, veterans, widows, folks who'd lost their own battles with power-happy HOAs. One woman wrote, "Thank you for reminding me that dignity doesn't come from permission." That one hit me right in the chest. HOA meetings look different now. Mural on the wall, kids in the crowd, people listening. We all live on borrowed land. I told them what matters is how we treat it and each other. The Heritage Center opened, buses rolled up every Thursday, the field blooming again, scars still there but covered with new roots. Some folks say I made enemies. Maybe. But I also planted a pecan tree right where the bulldozer broke ground. My mother always said trees remember better than people. She was right. They tried to pave over memory erase routes, but they were wrong. This land wasn't just property. It was a promise. And I kept it. Now I want to hear your take. Where do you draw the line between progress and theft? When does an HOA help and when does it hurt? Drop your thoughts below because this story, it's not just mine anymore.